Hello, I'm Aaron Park, and today we'll be going over 7th grade, Lesson 4. So, to start off, let's look at number 3 and 4. Number 3. An hour H has 60 minutes M. Which of the following equations represents this proportional relationship? So, 1 hour has 60 minutes, and that means that the answer will be, so we look at it, H equals M, but then we need to put a 60 in here somewhere. So, where do you think it goes? You might be tempted to put it here, so it'd be 60m, h equals 60m, but that isn't true because let's just look at it this way. If we put in 1 for our hours, we should get 60, right? But right now, if we put in 1 for our hour, we get 60m, so we have to divide by both sides by 60, so it would look like this. And then we divide, and what do we get? We got that we have 1/60th of a minute in every hour, and that is the opposite. So the actual answer that we want is we put the 60 next to the h. And now if we test it, if we put in 1, well, then the 1 gets multiplied by 60, and we get 60 minutes in 1 hour, which is what we wanted. So we just find this equation, which is the one right here, A, m equals 60h. So next, let's look at number 4. A yard y has 3 feet f. Which of the following equations represents this proportional relationship? So it's a similar idea to the one previously. We have yards and feet. And while you might be tempted to say a yard has 3 feet, so the 3 goes here, but that isn't the case. This is wrong. We just looked at that with number 3, so it should be 3y equals f. So not these, and then it's this one. Because we can test this again. If we put in 1 for the yards, we will get 3 for f. 1 yard, 3 feet. Next section, we will be checking whether the given number, so the number after the semicolon, is a solution of the equation or inequality. And then the answer will be yes or no. It's a solution or it isn't. So let's look at 8, 9, and 10, the last ones. Y minus 3.5 is less than 6, and then they give us 9. So let's plug it in. 9 minus 3.5 is less than 6. If we subtract, we'll end up with 5.5. And is 5.5 less than 6? The answer is yes. So the answer to number 8 is yes. Then for number 9, 2 plus 3x is less than or equal to 8. And they give us 2. So 2 plus 3x, and x is 2, is less than or equal to 8. We do PEMDAS, so multiplication comes first before we add. So it will be 2 plus 6 is less than or equal to 8. And 2 plus 6 is obviously 8, is less than or equal to 8. And 8 is indeed less than or equal to 8. The equal is an important part here. So number 9 is also yes. And then finally for number 10, 2p minus 1 is greater than equal to 7. Greater than or equal to 7. And the number is 3. So just like before, we multiply first. And then minus 1 is greater than or equal to 7. 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 is it greater than or equal to 7? And the answer is no. So for number 10, it's no. This next problem asks, which equation corresponds to the sentence, the product of a number b and 3 is no less than 12? So if you look, all the answer choices have 3b on one side and 12 on the other. So all we need to do is figure out what the sign is. And here it says no less than, no less than. It has less than in it, so we know that less than would look like this. However, it has this no in front of it. So it is not A. It is not saying 3b is less than 12. It's saying it's no less than 12. It's not less than 12. And the opposite of less than is greater to or equal. And that would be D, no less than 12. Next, let's look at some ratios. So number 3, which ratio forms a proportion with 26 over 12? 26 divided by 12. Now, I'll give you a tip here. So if you look at it, the ratio they give us, 26 is greater than 12, right? So the left number should be greater than the right number. 12 is not greater than 26, so it is an A. Same thing with B. C could be right because 13 is greater than 6. And then D is also isn't right. And just like that, we eliminated 3 answer choices, so we know that the answer is C. But that's just a tip and it won't work every case. So now I will solve it mathematically. Now a ratio will form a proportion with another ratio if it's proportional, which means that in this case we should simplify our ratio, 26 over 12. If you notice, both numbers are even, which means they're divisible by 2. So if we divide by 2, 26 divided by 2 is 13, and then 12 divided by 2 is 6. And if you notice, that's the same answer as what we got earlier. Now for number 4, which of the following answers is equivalent to the ratio below? 4 tablespoons of sugar for every 6 cups of coffee. And now, just like before, we should probably simplify. So this will turn into 2 for every 3. 2 tablespoons of sugar for every 4 cups of coffee. Is that the same? And the answer is no, this is not the same. 4 tablespoons of sugar for every 5, 3 for every 6, 2 for every 3, and that's what we got. This is the correct answer. Because they're proportional, they are equivalent. 4 to 6 is the same as 2 to 3. For number 5, the bus passed 140 miles in 2 hours and 210 miles in 3 hours. What is the average speed of the bus? So to find speed, it will be distance traveled over time. So the bus traveled 140 miles in 2 hours. 140 divided by 2 is 70 miles per hour. Miles per hour. So our answer is 70. Just to check, we can try the other set of distances. So it would look something like this, 210 miles divided by 3 hours, which will give us 70 miles an hour again. So we know our answer is correct. Now we'll do one last problem, number 4. Your printer takes 36 seconds to print a small photo and 60 seconds to print a large one. Write an expression for the time in seconds your printer would take to print a batch including both small and large photos. Use S for small, X for large, and T for time. So I think they wanted an equation, not an expression. Then find the time for blah 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 blah. So due to lack of time, we'll only be finding the equation, and you can solve it on your own. So we know it takes 36 seconds for every small photo. And then it takes 60 seconds for every large photo. Now, if you wanted to find the time, the total time it took, and you're printing a mix of both, what's the total time? That's right, you add these two. Because let's say you had like 2 of these and 1 of those, then it takes 36 seconds for each, which is why it's being multiplied here. But then afterwards, you would add the 2 total times. Add the 2 times to get your total, and T stands for total time. Thank you.